let's get going. So we have Sarah here. So Sarah is Facebook guru. That's what I'm calling you, Sarah, is the Facebook
I love it.
guru. So Sarah is an active agent herself, but she also has kind of figured out and mastered the Facebook advertising part of things, Facebook marketing. So you can definitely go down a rabbit hole with Facebook marketing. I will tell you right now, it can get expensive. You can just throw money like everywhere and nothing can happen. And I've learned that not from trying to find, well, I've learned it from both. I've run some seller ads for real estate. We're working on that, and refining it is just really important. So guidance is also very important so that you're not starting out by yourself trying to figure out how to do it and wasting a bunch of money. So even with the agent leader stuff, I'll tell you, it was a process to even figure out what works, and a lot of dollars spent, let's just say, in advertising to be able to refine the process. And I was starting from ground zero. So it's really great to have somebody on to be able to teach us and give us some guidance on where you would start, what you could do. She does do the service for clients as well. But she'll give us an idea of, where we would even start to, and what's beneficial about it and all that good stuff. So I'm going to pass it over to Sarah. And Sarah, what state are you in?
I'm in North Carolina now.
North Carolina.
Charlotte. Yep.
Awesome. All right. So I'm going to pass it over to you, and I'm going to
All right. Cool.
let you share your screen.
So we're talking about today, less stress, more leads. Obviously, even in your, well, first of all, thanks for having me. And I know getting leads is always, I mean, this is like the bane of our existence. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about how we can both attract leads and then build our social media channels to be able to, like Lisa said, funnel into paid ads, but have a place to put these people that we're paying to attain. Okay, you can skip this slide.
Okay, now how do I get to the next slide though?
Oh, I think you just, there you go.
Wait a sec. Okay, oh my freaking cow. Hold on just a second. Page down. Done. Got it.
Okay,
All right.
good. All right. So by the end of this session, we're going to be brief, but you're going to be able to understand organic and paid social media and how they're kind of different and when you should be using each, how to plan, build, test, and refine your overall social media and paid ads strategy. Next slide. Just a little bit about me. Before, I've been in real estate about 3 years. Before that, I spent 15 years in the social media digital marketing space for one company. We ran about 4 different pages, which totaled about 14 million people. So I was putting out over 100 posts every day. And when you have that every week. And when you have that size audience and you really need to find out both how to get them engaged and how to monetize them, you get really good at using data to be able to make your decisions. So I then and now use Facebook ads to drive leads, to build engagement and then trust with your audience. I'm a real estate agent and I do own a small marketing agency, basically helping real estate agents do exactly what we're going to talk about. And I like coffee. Don't we all? All right. So real quick, I'm going to talk about a little bit, definitely about organic social media. And the reason I'm going to focus a little more on this, more than I would have a few months ago, is because of, I don't know how much you guys have heard about all the iOS changes. So when Apple updated their iOS, they are very focused on privacy. You've probably even seen their commercials and, that now they're like the privacy gurus, right? So Facebook has in turn had to kind of pivot a lot of things, not so much in where it affects real estate agents and what our goals are, but it's becoming more and more important to really have a strong organic strategy now and focus before everyone kind of left their business pages in the dust. And now we really need to focus a lot more on that because it's getting more and more important the tougher it is to kind of get in people's feeds with all the iOS changes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my strategy, and it's really easy to remember and implement for you. Organic social. If you're a newer agent and you don't have a strong marketing budget, that's fine. There are still plenty of things you can do that are going to take a little bit of, for lack of a better word, sweat equity, but it's a really great place to start building engagement and nurturing your audience for when you're ready for paid ads. We're going to talk a little about action plan, getting ready for those paid ads, when to start doing them, and how to work them. And then I'll just answer whatever questions you guys may have. So winning on social media, right? More science, less art. I think a lot of people get caught up with, you know, pretty posts and pictures of pretty houses. And I see so many posts in these real estate Facebook groups about headshots and all that stuff.
Oh my God, blah, like that makes me want to, I'm so sorry.
Nonstop. And no one has ever in the history of ever hired you on a basis of your headshot. Fine, get a good one that you feel like you look pretty in or whatever. But in reality, those like quote unquote pretty things, they don't matter. The algorithm does not pay any attention to pretty posts. All right. What we obviously branding and all that is important, but it's really the science behind what makes people like things, what makes people engage with things, what makes people click off, that is really helpful for you to have an understanding of. So just more data, less getting caught in the weeds of Canva. Right. So this is one of a quote that I saw a while ago, and I love it. In a surprising number of fields, you'll find success if you're simply willing to do the reasonable thing longer than most people. And I think you find in our industry, but also in a lot of other industries, people will try social media for a while. And I'm telling you, I have people tell me all the time, it's not working. No one's liking my post. I'm not getting deals from it. And I get it's frustrating when you're putting out the work and you're not reaping the reward. But more than anything, you are going to really learn about algorithms and social media and all that stuff is just be consistent. What, you know, like Lisa said, you can really get caught up in all the various things that Facebook and Instagram and TikTok or wherever you decide to market, all the things are available to you. My best advice would be pick one or two things that you're going to focus on and just continue to do them. And I promise you, you will see the rewards from that because most agents really drop the ball. So triple R strategy, write it down. And once you write it down, you're going to remember it's like a funnel. Relevance, build relationships, which leads to ROI. So when we talk about relevance, we want to be putting out relevant content to our audience. I always, and I know in real estate, we are, for the most part, willing to work with anyone, especially when you're a new agent. So the idea of niching down can become counterintuitive, but I really would encourage you to at least have an idea of who do you end up serving most times. Are you working with families most time? Are you working with the 55 plus group? Are you maybe specializing in people in the healthcare industry because you know those loans? Are you specializing with veterans? Build that niche in your mind. And then I want you to go crazy researching what are they into? What are they interested in? What are they attracted to? What are they talking to outside or talking about outside of real estate? Google, when you go to Google and you do search terms, if you put, let's say if you work with people in the healthcare industry, you can start typing in getting a loan, you know, nurse getting a home loan, and there's going to give all sorts of related searches. There's also a really good site called askthepublic.com. Every day you can do one search on there. If you put in anything related to buying a home, let's say if you literally just type in buying a home, it's going to give you a plethora of searches and almost like a content wheel of all these different types of, you know, terms and phrases that people are searching by. And that'll really help you to develop your content strategy and get ahead of what people are searching for. So you know that you're delivering relevant content to those people. So continue on with that. From there, you are going to build relationships. And I tell people all the time, you would not go out to dinner with a friend and just be at the table and be like, guess what? I just listed this. I just sold this. I have an open house coming up. I like, you have to be multidimensional. And that applies on your social media. You cannot build relationships when you are only talking about one thing. So go ahead and talk about your just listed. Absolutely. But share more than just that. I want you to give a little bit, share the behind the scenes of maybe you driving somewhere or you writing something up, but also talk about your pets, talk about your kids as you feel comfortable, talk about your hobbies and what you like to do, and really make an effort to build those relationships. From there, that's when you start seeing the return on your investment. And as new agents, sometimes that investment is simply time. When I was a new agent, I did not have the budget to spend on Zillow leads or Facebook ads or any of that stuff. So I went straight organic and I got results from that. So that's what I want you to kind of keep in mind as you're going through how you're going to develop your organic strategy. So, well, we can skip these because I kind of already went through them, but speak to that ideal audience. And one thing I want here before we leave is never be afraid to be you, right? You're going to attract people that want to work with you. And those are usually the best kinds of leads, the best kind of business are the people who already like your personality, already like the things you stand for and want to work with you. You know, for example, I'm way more outgoing. I have a little bit of my New York accent left. Like, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, right? I live in the South now. So it's like, sometimes they want a nice Quaker, but it's fine because the people that do like my personality and do like to joke around and they like my accent or whatever, they want to work with me because of that. So never be afraid to be you and kind of, you know, you don't have to be however political or spiritual, whatever you want to be, you know, go for it. But I just hate when people, once you try to be everything to everyone, you'll really be nothing to anyone. All right. So that's really good to keep in mind. Sorry, we can skip
Did not go.
next one.
Hold
I
on.
think. Okay, no problem.
There we go.
All right. So we're talking about relationships. Like I said, be you. Try to keep your content 80% engagement, 20% that hard business. And an engagement post can be about your business, but they're not asking for conversions. So that 20% business is simply just listed, schedule a consultation, whatever it is. And then let's keep that other stuff engagement, whether it's about you, your day-to-day in the work, or what you do for fun. One thing I would like you to do is try to have this 5 by 5 by 5 rule. Try to have just 5 interactions with 5 different accounts or friends or whatever it is, 5 days a week. This shouldn't take more than 10 minutes of your time. And this does not have to be like explicitly business, but make an effort to go and give those happy birthday posts, or make an effort if someone posts a picture of their kid to just say, well, she's looking so cute today, even if they've posted 10 others of their kid that day. Okay. But just the more that people see you in their timeline, you end up kind of staying top of mind to them. And it also makes your marketing efforts a little more trackable rather than being kind of all over the place on social media all the time. Research kind of, and you don't have to get into the weeds here, but look at what the algorithm of Facebook, how it changes, how you can track it, and all this stuff. Be consistent. And my biggest advice in this market recently is use video. How many of you are like really comfortable with video so far? Has anyone tried it? Or should I say, how many of you are uncomfortable with video?
I hate
Mostly. That's fine. I'm uncomfortable with video. I think no matter how, I'm a raging extrovert and I don't like being on video. So that's all of us. But video is, yeah, Connie, yeah, me too. So video is probably the best organic tool that you can use. Oh, okay, Colleen. Yeah, you should try it. And again, you can go on those sites and see what's relevant to your audience and just pop on a quick Facebook Live. You're not going to look bad. You're not going to trip over your words. You're not going to look stupid, believe me. But it allows people to see you, see how you talk, see, what your personality is. And I've gotten, I mean, quite a few deals directly related to organic video. All right. So that's your goal over this summer.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Sarah?
Yeah.
So when it comes to the 5x5x5,
Yeah.
does it, like when you interact on other people's pages, does your feed then show up in their feed?
Yes. Yeah, because Facebook is going to see. Now, granted, if you've posted on this person's thing once a year, you may not keep showing up on their timeline that often. But yes, in general, Facebook now connects you and they'll see a little bit more of your stuff. And you'll notice that. Think of your own Facebook timeline, the people that you engage with, it's probably 10 people. And I think I have like 1,000 friends, but I see the same 10 people's posts all the time. And it's really the people you engage with. So make it as organic as possible. I think if you have this person from 30 years ago that you don't even know why they're your friend on Facebook and they don't live anywhere near you, fine. That might not be like the 5 people you want to engage with that day. But just the people that live in your area or outside of your area that maybe you have a personal relationship, just try to engage with them more. And yes, they will start seeing more of your stuff in their timeline.
Okay. So we do have a question in the audience. So what do you do on the Facebook Live? Do you need a decent audience to engage with for it to be effective? So
no. So if you are streaming from I always tell people I'd rather you do it from your business page, right? But I get that business pages don't have a lot. Here's what you do though. Your first couple of lives, no one might show up, but it's fine because everyone has to start somewhere. I started, no one would show up either, but they're all recorded. You save them, you can share them on your personal page. And if people start to know that, like with Lisa, I don't know how many started attending this training right off the bat, but with Lisa's consistency, I'm sure that this has grown. And that's with anything. You have to start somewhere. One thing that I would do is in the live, put in the actual like text of it, put, hey, if you're watching a replay, type #replay. Because what that does is later on, if I post this live video at 10 o'clock in the morning, someone watches at 3 o'clock and they type replay in there, now it gets bumped back up into people's timelines in the algorithm and all that stuff. So that's a way to kind of help. But where I would start in the beginning is getting on live about something that you may not need much audience feedback from. So just providing information. That way you're not like on video expecting to hang out with someone and no one's hanging out. So just go up there and fake it till you make it. Talk about something related to real estate. You can share your funny stories in real estate. You can share what you're doing. Whatever it is, I would just make sure that you're in the first couple of times you're doing it, that you're not needing your audience's feedback at first.
Well, and I think that's one important thing to note too, you guys, is that even if you had no people or somebody catches the replay, the content and the information is still out there.
Yeah.
So even if you're, let's say, doing a live where you're walking through a listing or you're getting ready to do an open house, so then you do a quick little walkthrough of an open house, anything like that, the replay is still out there so people can see it. It may not be on the live. Like, does everybody have the moment to like stop what they're doing and watch you on Facebook Live? Probably not. Everybody's busy. And that's just something that you have to get over. And the fear of feeling like, hey, if there's nobody on here, am I talking to no one? Well, eventually someone's going to see it. And that's just the fear that you have to get over, that it doesn't matter. And I'm just saying that too, because even when I get on to talk to you guys about anything and nobody's on there, it doesn't matter. Like, mentally you just have to put yourself in the mind frame that it doesn't matter. Somebody will get on later and it will benefit them later because you're providing the information. You're trying to provide some sort of value when you're doing your Facebook Lives. Do we need a Facebook Live because we're washing our car? Probably not, right? I mean, there's things that
Make it relevant.
Make it relevant. Yeah, make it have value. Colleen asked, do we need to post this on our business? All of our posts, they need to go on our business page first and then share from our business page to our personal page.
Yes, that's what I would do. That's a best practice because when you do get into running ads, you can run video view ads for pennies on the dollar. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but basically Facebook can track exactly who's interacting with that video, who's watching it, and re-deliver your other ads or your other content back to those people. But also just from a Facebook terms of service perspective, you want to try as best as you can to start all your business post from your business page. You can always share to your personal, but you want to, Facebook can shut down your personal page. Now, I see people doing it all the time. I get it. But best practice would be get in the habit of putting it on your business page.
Well, and that might draw a little bit more attention to your business page. I think the hard thing about business pages, and even for myself, is you have less friends, right, on your business page because they have to follow you. They're not just your friend. They have to accept your invite. Well, now there's like 500 million invites that you get every day to all different pages. And so you just don't have the audience on there like you do on your personal page.
Well,
so
one thing I like about the business page and then sharing it to my personal page is that then I can go back to the post on my business page and see how many people saw it. And like, you'll notice like, you know, that your numbers start going up for how many people are actually like seeing your post.
Absolutely.
And so if you just post on your personal page, you don't get any of that. So then you can select which post people liked the most or what they saw the most or whatever. So that's one thing I really like about like putting on my business page, then sharing it to my personal page.
Yeah. And one other thing that I have found helpful is you can, let's say, you know, like in my state, we have something called due diligence fee and then an earnest money fee. And buyers always get confused because due diligence is non-refundable in my state. So it's what allows them to do their inspections. So every buyer is always confused over it. So one thing I find helpful is those questions that come up very often with your buyers, go ahead and do a Facebook Live to that. But what I do is even a year into the future, I send people the link. Hey, go check out this video, watch it as many times as you want. You know, obviously I do my due diligence and explain it to them, but go watch this and it becomes something that you can refer people back to. Or if you're just introducing yourself on video, I know a lot of us are in these like mom groups of people moving to our areas, and you could be like, hey, here's a video, like just introducing myself. And that will place you like way above what other agents are doing. So you can keep those videos all in one place and, you know, you're going to be you a year from now. So that's also a good way to kind of reuse those videos over and over and get more views.
And to speak to that as well, just a thought that came up is if you do have that like introductory video of yourself, and let's say you receive leads that are kind of a warmer lead that don't personally know you, you could then, you know, offer to send them the video so that they could learn a little bit about you.
100%.
They're not going to say no. They're not going to say, please don't send me that video. Now, whether they watch it or not, you know, they might watch a little bit of it. They may watch the whole thing. You never know. But creating that, you could do that. And guys, just to get past the video part of things, you're going to feel stupid. That's just the beginning of doing video. You feel kind of dumb. You're going to feel inadequate. You're going to fumble a little bit, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. And it's just a process. But if you don't ever start, you're not going to get better.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Live interaction with, or on the live, is there audience interaction or just to do a Q&A for home buyers and sellers? It's just going to matter if you have people watching or not. And until you grow an audience of people that would kind of hop on while you're doing a live, you're not going to have a lot of interaction. So I wouldn't plan for the interaction necessarily. What do you think, Sarah?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, one thing that you can do, and then we'll move past the video thing for now, but one thing that you can do is, hey, if you're watching this later and you have a question, just drop your question in the comments and I'll come back and answer it. And that's a good way, start bumping it up. And if someone has questions, they don't necessarily have to catch you right there.
Right.
Okay, so when we're talking about taking action and just creating consistent content, what I like to do is just get a monthly calendar. And because we're all busy and we all have like these crazy lives going on in different places, try your best to create content for your month, schedule it out, and then you're done with it. And then really all you have to do is come back and do like those more day in the life posts of what's going on, or your video, you can just pad it. But these, take a screenshot of this or take a picture with your phone or something. These are all these different ideas of posts that you can do that, tend to generate engagement and are interesting and relevant to most people. You notice those random like crossword puzzles or those things about what's your leprechaun name. Stupid stuff like that does so well for our engagement. And it doesn't have to be real estate related, but it's like people cannot help themselves from picking their leprechaun name or like, but just think of how many comments that gets. And then that's just like boosting and boosting and boosting. And Facebook is like, hey, this page is pretty relevant. And then they're delivering your content to other people. So yeah, those are just a bunch of ideas of things you can do.
You guys get that already? Hopefully, okay.
Okay, cool. So now we get into your return on investment. And the way that you can really start working towards this is to test, track, and optimize. So go into your business manager. Like I think it was Heidi was saying, Facebook has like the most robust analytics platform of any platform out there. So go into your business page, when you're really first getting started, I would check it every 30 days and go see, hey, how are my posts doing? There's even in this little list right here, I think if you scroll down to actual posts that I underline, it's gonna drop down all the posts you made that month, and it's going to give you these little bars of, let's say if you weren't running any ads on them, it's going to give you little bars of how well each one did organically, and go through and look out for themes, topics. So if you notice like the stuff that you're doing about Q&A or popular buyer questions or loan programs is doing well, the next month you go and you put out more of that. And then if you notice that something is like really not doing well and no one cares about it, unless it's super important to your business, then just kind of do away with that and push it to side or do less of it. And that's the way, and that's why consistency is so important, because that's how we get this data. So really, it helps you kind of stay top of mind. And like Lisa said in the beginning, it may be no one is engaging, but that's okay. One thing that I really want, especially newer agents, or even if, specifically newer agents, is I spelled it wrong there. I promise I won a spelling bee when I was little. I know how to spell, but perception is reality, right? So when I was a new agent, I was doing these open houses for like this luxury home builder that had these new construction townhomes. Man, I marketed the hell out of these homes, right? I was always posting like videos of them, videos of me inside, setting up their glass fireplace. And then I also went into a lot of model homes that were not luxury, but they were like mid-sized luxury for the Charlotte market. And let me tell you, up until that time, I'd only sold 2 homes, and I was like 9 months into my real estate career, and I'd only sold 2 homes, and they were both to a friend. So I had someone come up to me and they were like, man, you're doing good. You're in the luxury market, huh? And to them, they equated me with luxury homes. And everyone that ended up calling me after that, they always felt like, oh man, you're killing it your first year. And I'm like, I've made, I think, a total of $6,000 in commission. So I was not killing it. But whatever you put out there ends up becoming reality to other people, just the way that we see people's posts and we think their marriages are perfect and their children are perfect and all this crap, right? So same thing goes with your business. So if you do not have any business, that's fine. Go ahead and walk through model homes and show these homes. You can say walking to an appointment and put a picture of the street and nobody knows you're walking to an appointment at the coffee shop with yourself. You know, it doesn't matter. Just like, for lack of a better term, fake it till you make it, okay? Because people are seeing this, even if they're not engaging directly, they're seeing it. And it really just kind of puts you in a different frame for them. So that was all organic. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the basics of Facebook ads. And I don't want to get too deep into it because we could be here for hours. But a couple of things to consider is, when are you ready? Do you have a Facebook pixel in place? How much do you need to spend? And then how do you do it? All right, I think we can go to the next slide where it's a little bit, okay. So first let me tell you about when you're ready. So I would say get into Facebook ads when you have your Facebook business page that you notice you're able to be consistent and you have a strong follow-up system or funnel in place. Even for my clients that I run ads for them, I do not run ads for any clients who don't have some sort of follow-up or funnel in place, because what you need to remember is that a lot of Facebook ads, these people are typically 6 to 9 months out from buying, sometimes a lot shorter, sometimes longer, but they are good leads. Don't let anyone tell you that Facebook leads are trash. The reason that people sometimes think they're trash is because they don't know how to work them, or they run them and they don't have a system in place to follow up with these people. So make sure you have that funnel in place, whether it's through your CRM or a series of marketing things you have, or maybe you have an ISA that's handling the calls or whatever. So just wait until you have the good foundation in place. Real quick, let me go back real quick to the pixel. What a pixel is basically a tracking tool that you install in your Facebook Business Manager. It tracks not only the people engaging with your organic content, but you can put it on your website and track people on what they're doing. Even if you are not running ads, what I would do is go and set up your Business Manager, create your pixel, and it'll start tracking the audience that's engaging with all your organic content. That way, when it's time for you to run ads, you already have this audience there and gathered up and can immediately target them.
Now, Sarah, with the changes with the iOS, did this affect the Facebook pixel?
Yes. So not on Facebook, but when you go off to other websites, it would track, like, for example, when you go and you're looking up like a water bottle on Amazon, right? If you don't buy it, then that water bottle is following you all around the internet until you buy the damn water bottle, right? So that's what the pixel would do. So I had people that would see my ads on like news station websites and they'd be like, Sarah, how much did you pay for that? And I didn't pay anything for it. I just told Facebook to deliver it to this audience network, and they were tracking where people that had already engaged in my stuff were. That has changed a little bit. The good news is, for real estate agents, it doesn't affect us so much because we're not really relying on we're not really moving people in a funnel on our websites. We're moving them in a funnel like usually outside of our websites. But it does affect that. On the organic pixel, on the organic side, it won't really affect it. The pixel will continue to kind of gather up everyone who's been like engaging with your content, looking at your page and all that. So it's just good to just have, even if you don't run ads for another 6 months, it's good to have that created, ready to go.
The other thing you guys want to start looking into is, with the iOS changes, now there's some Google tracking that you can do as well. So that's a whole nother thing that's just barely getting implemented. Yes. It gets complicated. It definitely does get complicated, but okay.
All right, so a couple of the tools that you'll want to use, and this is for organic and Facebook, but I'm gonna start at the bottom real quick. If you have any interest in ads or starting to run ads, where I would start is Facebook Blueprint. It's a free course that Facebook provides. It's like developers, that wrote this. So I'll tell you, it's not like the easiest in the world, but if you just take your time and walk through it, you can easily learn just how to get started, at least setting up everything you need to set up and start to run your ads. You'll want a Canva account, obviously, to start, working through your images and copy, and that's for organic too. Templates. So once you start testing, and this is again for organic and paid, once you start testing what works as far as copy or templates, I would just save those in my Google Drive. And that way, like I have one template for an ad I've been running that I'm just like using the same thing over and over because I've tested so much and I know it works. Get a content calendar for yourself. Those are a couple of places where you can get free stock images, which are helpful for your ads. The other thing is your competition. So if you go to, let's say if there's a big team in your town or an agent that is like killing it on social media, you go to their page and you scroll down, and I think it's on the left side, it's called page transparency. That'll show you whether or not that page is running ads. What you can do is go to their ad library, and because of Facebook wants everyone to be accountable or whatever, every ad they're running, if they're running ads, is going to show there. And I don't encourage you to plagiarize their ads, but get an idea of what they're doing and what's working for them. And that'll help kind of guide your own ad strategy. Especially if they're no matter what, don't cheat and copy and paste, but just kind of shop around and see what's working for people, especially when they've been running the same ad for three or 4 months. It's something that's working for them. So that's a good idea. This color picker extension will just help you get your branding right and your colors right. And then that Facebook blueprint is super helpful. All right. Who has what? Oh, I see the chat. Let me see if these.
I think we've kind of answered. That was me because I kept hopping in to ask.
Oh, okay.
As we went. So I think that we've kind of hit everything, but does anybody have any additional questions now that we've come to the end? It was a very quick crash course for you all.
Very quick. Well, yeah, we could be here forever talking about Facebook ads, but definitely if you want to know more, definitely get with that. Just Google that Facebook blueprint, and that'll really help you at least get started. That's like the free way to do it. That'll help you at least get started.
So if I have no funnel or like automated follow-up system, where do you suggest that I start like that process?
So if you don't have an automated funnel, that's fine as long as you have a way to nurture them. So a lot of CRMs, I don't know what CRM you use, but the bigger ones like KV Core, Chime, they have some sort of like funnel in place that you can assign to buyers and sellers and just automatically kind of drop those people in there. Another thing I would do is make sure that you're able to field calls, or basically get the speed to lead and reach out to them and be intentional yourself about following up. I would also use video as much as possible. So you can set up, like I have a welcome email set up. So as soon as this lead comes in, let's say if it comes in at 2:00 in the morning, I set up what's called a zap, and that's done through, oh, sorry, I thought I lost you guys. That's done through Zapier, and it'll automatically send out an email to them, and they'll see like a little video of me and say, hey, I'm working on your home value, or I'm working on your custom list of homes, until I can get with them in the morning. But I would start with your CRM, if you have one, and see what they may or may not have built in so far.
So as far as like a smaller CRM, which one do you recommend? Because everyone always has like we don't have KV Core. So like, I always hear that one. Is there one that you recommend?
I've heard, so I haven't worked in it myself, but I've heard Lion's Desk is really good. And I think it's like $25 a month.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think in there that you are able to set up some sort of automatic like email funnel system.
Okay.
And if you just Google real estate sales funnel, you'll get ideas of just like an email sequence, something that you can kind of put into play automatically. So you don't have to wait too
Okay.
long. But yeah, I would start there. But even if you don't start there, you can just have these leads, quote unquote, zapped directly, and you can connect it to your Gmail for now and have your Gmail send this email automatically. And then as long as you and your team or whoever you work with are good at calling these people or manually emailing them, that's fine. It drives me crazy when agents think that these leads are coming from like heaven and they're all ready to spend $800,000 tomorrow. Like that's not how it works. Or they'll make one phone call. I had a client who I got her like 20 leads in 48 hours, and they were all, I think like 9 of them also had a house to sell. They all answered 6 questions in the form. So no one answers 6 questions unless you have some intention of doing something, right? And she would call me like, oh, I called them, they didn't answer. I'm like, okay, well, keep calling, I mean, so as long as you just have that in your head, or else, yeah, you will throw money out and those Facebook leads will be trashed, but it's only because you trashed them. So yeah, if you don't have like something automatic in place, that's fine. Just be willing to do the manual job of nurturing them.
Cool. Thank you.
No problem.
Anybody else have any questions? I think one of the people I'm going to get on, I'm going to reach out to Patty Sampson and see if she wants to come on. She used to actually train for Lion Desk, a lot of the bigger companies that had CRMs or that own CRMs. She actually created her own as an agent. She's got one, but then she also, because she's an agent and she's a very successful agent, she has created her own drip campaigns to be able to place people into. So I'm going to get her back on again. To train us,
that would be awesome.
Kind of give us some more examples too of what she has and what types of funnels that she has that she's finding are successful. So
yeah, let me just give you guys an example that Facebook leads work. And I think I told Lisa this, but last the winter of 2019, like November, December, I was spending hundreds of dollars to generate seller leads. And I had about 300 people in my database that I'd been working with, right? And then, like the beginning of every good story, COVID happened and all my kids came home and like, regular transactions and everything was crazy. And I dropped the ball in keeping up with these people. And of those, I think out of those like 200 or 300 people, when I came up for air in like July or August, I think 4 of them had ended up selling their house during that time. And it was like over $3 million of volume that I missed out on simply because I stopped nurturing them. And, who knows if they all would have hired me, but I know that I didn't do my job. So that's just the thing of like, they're not trash. It's just a matter of how are you going to nurture them? There are a million ways to do that, but just have some sort of game plan in place.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the name of the game always, you guys, is the fact that it's all a funnel, right? So we have like all these different avenues to be able to find business that we have to continue to put into the funnel for the good stuff to drop out the bottom. Yeah. Really. And so there's not one way. It's not just Facebook ads. It's not just YouTube. It's not just, it's not just anything. That's a really big misconception that there's some sort of saving grace in how to find your leads. And there's not. It's a compilation of a lot of things. And that's what's going to grow you faster or grow your business faster and get you selling more, is that it's not just a one shot in one spot. And then that's the magic sauce that's going to be able to, keep you moving. It's throwing all these things in the pile. And because you throw enough things in the pile, something works out. That's just how it is. And you just have to have the people that give up. And this is just my soapbox for the moment, I guess. But the people that give up are the people that think that there's just the one thing, right? It's easy. We're just going to go sell houses and it's just going to be this easy thing. And they try the one thing that's the popular thing to do and it doesn't work, or it doesn't work enough, or it works enough that they sell 8 houses a year. Well, you can't just do the one thing. And does it take more energy and more time? Yep. It does, but if you want to, like, I just added up, and I'm not joking. Sometimes I go and add up my board to see what I have pending. I have $203,000 pending right now in income, and that's all closing in the next 2.5 months. Like, that's why I keep saying I'm tired. I'd rather teach you guys how to do it than to just keep doing it myself, because I figured it out. This keeps happening, and this is not from me looking for leads. This is, I go through my book and repeat business, referral, repeat business, referral. I mean, this is just over and over and over again. So when I say that where I started and where I continue to go is like funneling all the different avenues in, I'm serious. That's what gets you to a spot where, you know, eventually you've got enough business, you nurture those clients right, you do the post-closing nurturing like we've talked about and trained about in the Blueprint Library. You do all that, and then you just continue to build. It's a business at that point. You're not just a realtor. You don't just sell a house here and there. You've built an actual business where you have clientele that will continue to return to you and send other people to you. And you're then not searching out for more and more business all the time. So this is a temporary, like in general, right? Temporary. Now, you never want to, of course, Facebook is always good to continue to post on, and you want to stay top of mind on there because what it made me think of was Rachel Hollis, you guys. So bad. But she's gone MIA right now on social media because she did something not great. So she's MIA. You think she's dead. Like, no posting, no nothing. I mean, she's just not anywhere. So it's kind of what Sarah said. It's like, well, when you see the people that are posting about their beautiful families, they can have a screwed up family. They can have a junk marriage and they're getting divorced. But because they're posting, people think that everything's grand and great, right? So you just have to keep that part out there so people know that you're working. You never want to stop showing that you're working. Anyway, just a few little notes of things that I thought of today, but keep hanging in there because it keeps, like, all this information. Thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us today, because
Thank you for having me.
This is a whole other leg of the process of things that you can do to be able to bring more business in for you.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Well, you're awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was fun. Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Where can they find you if they want any more information?
I was like, I already followed her on Instagram, and I
love you.
posted you on Facebook. So I'm like,
I love you.
I look better in real life, in, like, you know, normal life than like morning. But
this is only because I had to go to a doctor appointment this morning, because normally I'd be just like that. Yeah, so I have a free group called Modern Marketing for Real Estate Agents. You can go in there. I'm not quite at Lisa's level doing how organized she is with her trainings yet, but I'm getting there. But yeah, I mean, if you ever want to bounce off ideas, I just happen to love this stuff probably more than I love like the sales. And I know Lisa loved the sales stuff. That's the stuff that keeps me up at night. But I do love the marketing part of it. Yeah. So, I mean, if you ever just are thinking of something or want to bounce something off of me, that's probably the best place to catch me.
Well, and one thing I noticed in Sarah's Facebook group too, the Modern Marketing for Real Estate Agents, right?
Yeah.
If you even watch what she posts too, is very good examples of engagement and, you know, just, it's a really good example to go look at as well. So you kind of follow in there.
Yeah. And I've been in there and no one's been on my videos. Like, no one's watching me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to myself again. But then I'll have people like shoot me a DM, or they come back later like, oh, I watched that video. So yeah, like Lisa said, just do
it anyway. Just do it anyway. That's right. You see me standing in my office at 9 o'clock at night doing my lives, talk about Elevate. That's, nobody can be on. Everybody can be laying in their beds or eating dinner and not even pay attention. But the information, what you have to give is information and value, and you can help people. I mean, that's what you're out there to do, is to help people find new clients so that you can help them. So if you are thinking about it in that way, it's not just, hey, is somebody really watching me right now? And are they liking my posts? And is it important to other people? It doesn't matter. It matters that it's important to you and you're providing good information to them. And then you're there when they need you. That's the most important thing, and the mind frame that you're going to have, because it can be a little bit shocking at first when you're like, nobody's looking at anything. Well, that's going to happen. And that's why there's replays.
Or you think they're not looking, but like they're secretly looking, and you find out later, like they were actually,
Yeah, the lurkers. You're going to get lurkers.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I've closed deals this year from like on my real estate side of things, these videos I was doing. And I think I've closed 4 deals just this year so far of people who are like, oh, so I was watching your video and we're thinking about listing our house. They never commented. They
Right.
never told me they watched the video. They nothing, but they did. And yeah, so just what you said, just,
Do it anyway. Yep.
Yep.
All right, you guys. Well, have an awesome weekend.